episode 66. This week I'm reviewing Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. This movie is visually one of the most impressive films I've ever seen. Right up there with Avatar and Life of Pi in terms of the impression it left with me. The directing is incredible. It's directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who directed Children of Men, one of the Harry Potter movies, and this movie Y Tu Mamá También, which all my pretentious friends love, but I think it's just really an excuse to watch a foreign film with lots of sex on screen and then claim that it's very artsy and that you're very civilized, cultured for liking it, but I didn't dig the movie, don't get it. But let's talk about Gravity. The basic plot is this small mission of astronauts is doing a routine space checkup program update when a space debris accident occurs, causing a lot of death and kind of chaos and a blackout in terms of communications. But don't worry, George Clooney and Sandra Bullock, shockingly, the two A-list actors are the ones who survive the accident, and the movie is basically about their mission to get home, to get to safety and then to get back to Earth. The dialogue is fine, the acting is good, but the real star of the movie to me is the director and the cinematographer. It is an incredible movie. There's no space aliens, there's no villains, it's just nature and space at creating this sort of tense atmosphere. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie to watch. I would shell out the $190 again to see it in IMAX 3D in Manhattan. Hopefully, if you don't live in Manhattan, you don't have to pay quite that much to see an IMAX 3D movie, but this is one of those movies where it was worth it to see it in as big and impressive a format as possible. Sandra Bullock is really good and a fantastic body for a woman in her late 40s. Although I do have to lodge a complaint only because it's featured quite a lot. She's never naked, but her butt is very Miley Cyrus-esque, which is sort of annoying because everything else on Sandra Bullock is very, very nice. Which is sort of bad for Miley Cyrus, I guess, that her butt is now the default comparison for a terrible butt, but we've all seen it. It was terrible. It's like Miley Cyrus has the butt equivalent of like a saggy A-cup breast, which is hard to even conceive that that's possible, and yet her butt accomplished it. But for Sandra Bullock to have the butt of a 19-year-old whore is pretty good, and considering that everything else is really good. She's very good in the movie. Clooney's fine, but visually it's an incredibly impressive movie. And I was also impressed. It's so funny when you see a movie and there were a lot of gay nerds at the theater, which I just found funny. I was like, oh, I guess this is the movie for gay nerds. You get Clooney and you get NASA, boom. So, and probably in that theater, the scientist who just, helped curb HIV is probably in the, that's the kind of crowd it would be, a motivated nerd to shit. Anyway, that was probably inappropriate. The movie, I would give an A+ for visuals. So, since cinema is a visual medium, you should just go see it because it's incredible. And for the rest of the movie, the plot towards the end, there was a little bit of eye rolling from the crowd and me, because it just sort of, it seemed to be like in a movie where everything went wrong. At some point you were like, okay, we get it, everything's going wrong. And it just seemed a little excessive just towards the end for a moment. But it's an excellent movie, and I'd give it an overall A-, visually an A+, overall an A-. So go see it in as big a format, because this is not one you want to wait for on-demand or cable TV. See it in the theater, see it this weekend. And that's it. That's my review. So I will talk to you next week. Thanks.
Wanna get the feeling, gotta get the feeling going.